Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Carissa Hunter, and I'm a PhD student at George Mason University. So today my talk will be on pore water and surface water analysis in the tidal freshwater Potomac River for the presence of pharmaceutical and personal care products. And so in the recent years, as we all know, overconsumption of pharmaceutical and personal care products, or PPCPs, has been evident and in fact harmful to the environment. And we know our PPCPs are our birth control hormones, our growth hormones, our over the counter medications, our personal and hygiene products. And I know for a fact I'm a culprit of overconsumption, especially as the season's changing. I tend to be taking more allergy medicine. And so the three objectives of my talk will be: do concentrations of PPCPs in pore water compared to surface water show any differences? Do concentrations of PPCPs in pore water compared to sediment show any differences? And do dissolved organic carbon concentrations vary in pore water and surface water, similar to PPCPs? And so this emphasis on pore water basically shows that there are greater concentrations than surface water. And so pore water is the water that's held between the gaps within the soil or rock. And it's very understudied. It can help determine the fate of chemicals, which also provides valuable information into sediment water exchange or fluxes. Pore water helps regulate the transport of chemicals into and out of sediment. It can also determine the equilibrium between sediment solids exchanging with PPCPs. And to the right, you see this fish point sampler with the peristaltic pump, which is how we in our lab collect pore water. Um, And so in order to examine the presence of PPCPs and to get a better understanding, two sites will be shown today out of the 15 samples collected, and that's at Kenilworth Park and Anacostia Park in Washington, D.C. And these sites are near wastewater treatment plants because it was shown in recent studies that wastewater treatment plants showed higher concentrations of PPCPs. There were 49 target chemicals looked at, but only about 10 will be shown today. As stated earlier, surface water, pore water, and sediment was collected. Surface water was collected using a submersible pump, pore water using a push point sampler with a peristaltic pump. When the push point is pushed into the water about 30 centimeters below the sediment, the guard rod is removed and the peristaltic pump helps deploy the water. And sediment is also collected using a Ponar grab. After water and sediments collected, it's prepared for LCMS analysis and also TOC analysis. So surface water and pore water is first filtered to get rid of any larger debris. It's spiked with internal standards and surrogate standards for quality assurance and recoveries. It's then extracted for the chemicals and directly eluted into the LC vials. Sediment is sampled in the same way, except it's first sieved, spiked again with internal and surrogates standards, and then a microcatcher's extraction method is used before it's also eluted into LC vials. And so for the results, you can see in this first corner, in Anacostia Park, pore water in blue and surface water in orange, you can see that pore water is in fact has higher concentrations or similar concentrations, except for if you're looking at ethanol and enalapril. Those concentrations are higher in surface water, and that's your high, excuse me, your high blood pressure medications. And some assumptions being that people in this area just tend to use it more, and it's just serving as a source in the water in these areas. If you look at Kenilworth Park, the same pore water and surface water. Pore water is greatly higher, has greatly higher concentrations, as you can see, for metformin and cimetidine, as compared to surface water. But again, etanol and enalapril have concentrations that are higher in surface water. When looking at the dissolved organic carbon in the bottom left corner, you can see that pore water concentrations are in fact larger in both Anacostia Park and Kenilworth Park in comparison. And also looking at the sediment in the bottom right corner, you can see that sediment concentrations are so low or negligible that pore water concentrations do outweigh the sediment. And so all in all, it's you can see that pore water concentrations do differ than surface water concentrations. Thank you.